Share my bed or freeze. Human. The alien woman's demand to the lonely human on a snowbound night. The wind outside screamed like a pack of furious wolves, rattling the old windows of the cabin where I'd taken refuge for the night. Snowdrifts piled against the door, making the world outside a frozen void. I had been alone for hours, staring into the dim glow of the fireplace, wondering if anyone at all, was out there in this endless white. That's when I first heard it. A soft knock, hesitant but deliberate, echoing across the icy silence. I hesitated. Visitors this far out in the blizzard were practically non-existent. Yet curiosity outweighed caution, and I opened the door. Standing there was a figure that made my breath catch. Not just from the cold. She was tall, impossibly elegant, with skin that shimmered faintly under the snowflakes, like pale moonlight reflected in ice. Her eyes glowed a soft amber, and her hair, long and white, fell in perfect waves over a coat that seemed more ceremonial than practical. She smiled, not kindly, but with a command that froze me in place. "I need shelter," she said, her voice melodic yet sharp, like ice cracking under weight. "Or I will freeze tonight, and you will have no one left to save you." The words made no sense at first. How could my refusal affect her survival? But something in her stance, the certainty in her gaze, made me step aside. I pulled her in, brushing snow from her shoulders, and closed the door against the storm. Inside, the cabin was small and cozy, with a single bed tucked into the corner. She removed her coat, and the shimmer of her skin became more pronounced. I could not stop staring. She was not human, yet every line of her form carried an undeniable elegance. "I assume you have only one bed," she stated matter-of-factly, walking over to it as if she already owned it. "It will be warmer if we share it. Otherwise." Her amber eyes met mine. "You will watch me succumb to the cold. And perhaps you too, eventually." I swallowed hard. Sharing a bed with a stranger, an alien stranger, on a night when even the cabin walls seemed to tremble from the blizzard, felt absurd. Yet her words carried a strange urgency, a silent threat wrapped in necessity. I don't know if that's a good idea," I stammered, my mind spinning. Her lips curved into a smirk, but her eyes never wavered. "Good. Safety is not about what is good. It's about what works. Decide quickly. The night does not wait." I had no choice. With a nervous nod, I stepped aside. She climbed onto the bed gracefully, curling up in a way that made her seem even smaller, yet still overwhelmingly otherworldly. I joined her reluctantly, sitting at the edge at first, feeling the chill of the sheets under my skin. She turned her gaze toward me. "Closer," she commanded softly, not rudely, but with an authority that made me shiver beyond the cold. I hesitated, then slid next to her, careful not to touch, yet unable to resist the warmth emanating from her. To my surprise, the air between us seemed to shimmer with static, almost alive. "Do not fear me," she whispered, placing a hand lightly on mine. The touch was electric, a cold fire that traveled up my arm. "I mean no harm beyond survival. But humans are fragile creatures. You will learn that quickly if you remain outside in the storm." We lay there in silence for a few moments, listening to the wind howling outside, the snow rattling like distant drums. Slowly, the tension between us began to ease, replaced by a strange companionship born of necessity. I found myself studying her face, tracing the unfamiliar contours with my eyes, the way her pupils adjusted to the dim light, the faint glow beneath her skin, the subtle rise and fall of her chest as she breathed. "You're not human," I said finally, my voice barely audible. She chuckled, a soft sound that resonated with warmth despite its alien timbre. Correct. I am from the northern planets beyond your system. But tonight that matters little. The snow does not care where you are from, only that you are unprepared. The night stretched on, the storm outside refusing to relent. I could feel her body close to mine, not threatening, but undeniably present. Every movement was a lesson in patience and understanding, every glance a subtle conversation without words. I realized that in this frozen world stripped of distractions, we were simply two beings seeking warmth, seeking survival. Hours passed, or maybe minutes. Time was hard to measure when the world outside was nothing but white noise and frost. The cold had begun to seep into my bones despite the fire. She shifted closer, and for the first time, I allowed myself to rest my head near hers, feeling the strange radiant heat she emitted. "You are more human than I expected," she murmured. "Fragile, yes, but surprisingly adaptable. Most would have panicked hours ago." I chuckled softly, a sound that surprised even me. "I guess desperation makes strange allies." She smiled, an expression that seemed almost warm now, less of command and more of companionship. "Perhaps," she said. "And tomorrow, when the storm passes, you will remember tonight as a curiosity. Or perhaps, as the night you learned that warmth comes in unexpected forms." By dawn, the storm had begun to ease. Snow clung to the roof and windows in delicate patterns, glistening like crystals in the first weak light of morning. She rose, moving with the same elegance that had captivated me the night before. "I will leave now," she said, her tone neutral again, though there was a hint of something almost tender beneath it. "But remember, you shared your bed when the night demanded it. That choice, it matters." I watched her leave, the snow crunching softly under her feet. Outside, the world was still white, still harsh, but somehow it seemed less lonely. I returned to the bed, now empty, and realized that warmth was not just skin deep. It was in decisions made under pressure, in understanding without words, in the quiet connection between beings who should have been strangers. And somewhere, in the wind that carried the last whispers of the blizzard, I could have sworn I heard her voice, soft and melodic. "Until we meet again, human." By dawn, the storm had begun to relent, leaving the world outside in a sparkling frozen silence. Snow clung to the roof and windows like fragile crystals, catching the weak morning light. She rose from the bed with the same effortless grace that had captivated me the night before, moving as though the cabin itself acknowledged her presence. "I will leave now," she said, her voice calm yet carrying a subtle warmth. "But remember this, tonight you chose to share your bed. That decision, it matters." I wanted to speak, to ask her where she was going or if I would ever see her again, but the words stuck in my throat. All I could do was watch as she opened the door, and the cold light of the snow outside made her glow even more vividly. With a final glance, she stepped into the blizzard, and the storm seemed to part just enough to let her vanish into the endless white. The cabin felt impossibly empty after she left. I returned to the bed, now cold and still, and realized something profound. Warmth isn't only skin deep. It's in choices made under pressure, in trust given despite uncertainty, and in the unspoken connection between two beings who should have been strangers. For a moment, I thought I heard her voice riding the wind, soft and melodic. "Until we meet again, human."